All right, hey scholars. Tonight's homework is going to be multiplying fractions and whole numbers. All right, so turn to page 28 in your math notebook. Your title, Multiplying Fractions and Whole Numbers. Your date in the corner, today is the 11th to 11/15. It's going to be 2-column notes. So if you'll take the right side of your paper and fold it over to the red line, it'll give you this dividing line, the vertical dividing line that you need. We're going to talk about one way that you can multiply fractions and whole numbers, and then we're going to list the other way right over here. All right, one way. Okay, if we have 3/4 of 7, if it's written that way in a word problem, okay, 3/4 of 7 means 3/4 times 7. Okay, so step 1, multiply the whole number times the numerator. So if we have 3/4 times 7, we're going to write 3 times 7 in our numerator. Our denominator is going to stay alone on the bottom, and that will equal 3 times 7 equals 21, and that will be on top of 4. Then we have step 2, where you will rename the improper fraction. 21 over 4 is improper, so we have to rename that fraction into a mixed number. Hey, you're going to divide the numerator by the denominator. Okay, so the numerator is 21, the denominator is 4. You're going to divide 4 into 21. 4 will go into 21 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. Subtract, you get a remainder of 1. But we're going to do it differently when we're dealing with fractions. This remainder is going to be our numerator. What you were dividing by was the denominator, and that stays the same. That's going to be your denominator. So 21/4 is equivalent to 5 1/4. So that's one way that you can multiply fractions and whole numbers. The second way, another way over here in this second column, okay? Just so that you remember, you can turn this around. 7 times 3/4 is going to be the same thing as 3/4 times 7, okay? Step 1, rename the whole number as a fraction. 7 can become 7 over 1. 7 as the numerator and 1 as the denominator. This is a property you have as a whole number because you don't have it split into equal groups. It is all contained in one group is what that new one denominator is showing you. Okay? So every whole number in the world actually has a hidden denominator of 1 that you don't have to write. Okay? You're going to multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. So we're going to change our whole number 7 to 7 over 1. We're going to multiply it times 3/4. So we'll rewrite it as 7 times 3 over 1 times 4. That gives us 21 over 4. Rename the improper fraction. It's the same procedure as over here for the renaming part. And that is the second way you can do it. Down at the bottom, we're just going to put a few notes about the different ways we've been using whole numbers here. Okay? There are many ways to represent whole numbers. Okay? For example, we did 7. You can move it to where it's 7 over 1. Okay? And that it'd be equivalent to 21 over 3, which would be equivalent to 147 over 21. Okay? Those whole numbers you can keep making equivalent fractions the same way that we've made equivalent fractions before. For example, right here we multiplied the denominator by 3, so we multiply the numerator by 3. Multiply the denominator times 7, multiply the numerator times 7. Okay? Now since these were improper fractions right here, if you do the numerator and divide it by the denominator, you get the whole number as your quotient, as your answer. Okay, so if we had 7 divided by 1, like we had right here, 1 will go into 7 7 times. 7 times 1 is 7. If we look at this example right here, divide the numerator 21 by the denominator 3. 3 goes into 21 7 times with nothing left over. If you look at the last example right here, 147 divided by 21. 21 will go into that 7 times. Oops. With nothing left over. Now, don't want you to get this confused, what we're doing today, with what we were doing last week. Okay? Last week we were talking about one whole, when we would borrow one whole from a mixed number and change it into a fraction. Hey, remember, if you're talking about the one whole, the numerator must equal the denominator. So we could have 5/5 or 100 100ths, 42 42ths, 40 seconds. Hey, if we had 2,692 over 2,692, this would all equal 1 because the numerator and the denominator are equal. Okay, on this, what we were talking about today, okay, it is an improper fraction. Okay, well, technically both of them are improper since this is equal, but the numerator is greater than the denominator. You can actually do the division thing to get back to the whole number. Okay, right here you have the numerator and the denominator equal. Okay, and that equals the whole one whole. This one up here is talking about, 7 and changing it to where it would still equal 7. You're going to get your notes copy down here. On the back of 27, you're going to have your 9-3 quick check. Okay, this goes along with what we did in class today. Okay, the first one you're going to do is just a simple equation, 17 times 6/8. On 2, 3, 4, and 5, you are going to look at page 466 that you pulled out today and I told you to keep in your binder. Okay, number 2 is going to be 19A on the back. Number 3 is 19B. Number 4 is number 21. And number 5 is number 20. Okay, you're going to do the work on these today at home. You can record your answers on your worksheet, and you want to record them in your notebook. Okay, because you'll have to turn the worksheet in, but you'll use the notebook to click in your answers on the Pearson website. Okay, that's it for tonight. I will see you tomorrow.